Hello, you can hear me now. Oh, excellent. So this is a membership meeting, so welcome. Please continue to get some food and drink for those in Anaheim. But I thought, what's a great way to start a membership meeting? I think one way is to ask people, why are you a member of Informs? So does anybody want to tell me why they're a member of Informs? Oh, okay. Tell us who you are and why are you a member of Informs?
Sure. My name is Alicia Bridges. I work at IT International in the Virginia area, and I'm a practitioner. I guess the main reason I joined Informs many years ago and also renewed my membership was really because I was very passionate about the profession and really encouraged by the wonderful breadth of folks that I got to meet and network with, and obviously the ability to be able to share and promote the profession to younger folks as well.
Great. That's a great reason, right? Thank you. Anybody else? Why are you a member of Informs? Anyone? Okay, please. Stand up, tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Greg Parnell. I've joined Informs, and it's been a great experience to meet fellow colleagues with similar research interests like Robin and others.
Excellent. Thank you, Greg. Anybody else? Why are you a member? Okay, Robin, you got it.
I was a member of Orsa and Tim's, and then we founded Informs, so I joined Informs. And I was an officer at the time. But the reason I started with Orsa and Tim's was that it's mission critical. It was useful for me as a student, and I became a professor, and I also was at NSF. And in all cases, it was extremely valuable to be a member and to be able to participate in everything here.
Wow, as the executive director, hearing mission critical, that's awesome. Anybody else? I'm going to start asking the presidents if you want to take the stage. So, Pranor, I'm going to ask you first, once you're seated, to tell us why you are an Informs member.
I can start answering now.
Oh, you can walk and talk. That's great.
I can walk and
okay,
talk.
this can do it.
Can you all hear me? Yeah? Welcome. It's so nice to see all of you after almost 2 years of being cooped up at home. So I'm a member of Informs because this is our home. This is where we have our colleagues, friends, collaborators. This is where we learn, grow, network with each other. We get inspired, we get new ideas. We contribute to research, to practice, and this is also where we get an opportunity to serve. So I really cannot imagine not being a member of Informs.
Steve, why are you a member of Informs?
Yeah, good question. My answer is very much like Robin's and Pinar's, but as an academic, Informs sort of acts as my infrastructure for professional development and professional engagement, and it provides a network to the ORMS community. The journals are an important mechanism for validating our work, for advancing the science and technology of decision making. The meetings here are the way that we connect to the community, share our ideas, expand our networks, learn from others. For me, Informs is also an extremely valuable bridge to the practice community that allows me to keep aware of what's going on in the real world, as well as to sort of find collaborations that we can work on as for our mutual benefit. So, Elaine, I'm going to now pass the question to Radhika.
I am a member of Informs because of the many networking and lifelong learning opportunities it provides me. I became a member as a student in the early 80s, and I have stayed a member throughout my career for more than 35 years. It has enabled me and encouraged me to attend Informs conferences, and being a part of Informs gives me an opportunity to share my experience with others, and also gives me an opportunity to learn from others as well, which I think is very, very important. So every year, as I hear more examples of how our members have made a huge difference in critical problems in healthcare, preventing instances of human trafficking, making us safer in the skies, providing solutions to the many, many supply chain problems, et cetera, the list goes on. It makes me proud to be a member of the group and also makes me wish I had many more years to give to this wonderful area. To me, Informs is my professional family, and I look forward to being a member for many, many more years to come.
Well, that's great. Thank you. So welcome to our annual member meeting, our business meeting. What we're going to do is a little bit different than previous years. I'm not going to show you slides. I'm actually going to give you a state of the society, just some highlights. And then we're going to have some time to take questions from those online. You can write it in chat, and for those in person, we have a microphone for you. So I'm Elena Gersman. I'm the Executive Director of Informs. I've said that multiple times in the past few days, and I know some of you are thinking, what is an Executive Director of Informs? Let me tell you, it's one of the world's best jobs because I get to work with all of you every day. I get to work with the volunteers. I get to work with the presidents, the boards. Every day, the heart of Informs is what I get paid to do, to work with them. I also get paid to work with 55 professionals, mostly in Maryland, who do everything and work with everything Informs is touched by a professional staff member. And I'm so proud and honored to work with them every day. So I want to talk about 5 things in terms of the state of the society. The first one is our strategic plan. I'm not going to go through it in depth because hopefully you've seen the great article published by Steve earlier this year in ORMS today, and I've written a few pieces also. But I want to call your attention to our vision, right? So an organization's vision is where do they want to go? It's big, and our vision is big also. We want to be and live in a just, prosperous, and sustainable world. Don't we all want to live in a just, prosperous, and sustainable world? We think we're going to get there through better decision making and because of the science and technology of operations research, analytics, all of our related fields. If we do that, we're going to get to a better world. And that's what we're trying to do. So I'm not going to go through it in depth. If you have questions, we can answer questions later. The second thing I want to talk to you about is our major products and our major services. Membership is one of them. You in the room, you online. So we rebounded. Last year we got hit hard because of COVID, but we have new engagement strategies, new things happening with our membership committee and our staff. So thank you for being a member of Informs. Our publications, the things that you read and you write and you review, we are about to hit a huge milestone. In a few days, maybe a week or so, we're going to hit 3 million downloads. That means 3 million articles are downloaded for the first time. So congratulations to all of you who contribute to that. Also, the meetings. This annual meeting, we didn't know what it would be like, but it's been a success. Yes, we hit a few pebbles in the road, and I apologize for that, but the feedback I've been hearing has been great. So thank you all for registering, for attending, whether it's virtually or in person. Thank you. The third thing I want to talk to you about is our finances. And this is a glass half empty, glass half full commentary on the state of our finances. Glass half empty. We're in a deficit year. We were in a deficit year. We'll have a deficit year last year like so many organizations. But most days I'm in the glass half full because we have reserves. We have savings, and we have the presidents and the board of directors who say we're not going to pull back. We're going to keep investing in this community because this community is just growing. So I live in a glass half full view of finances. The fourth thing I want you to mention is our advocacy and our public relations. So we advocate, mostly at the federal level, for so many things that Congress needs to know about the power of operations research, analytics, and all of our related fields. Because one of the things that I love about public policy is it doesn't just affect one person or 10 people, but hundreds, thousands, millions, and sometimes even billions of people. because of the research that this community does. The second piece of that is our media relations. So over the last year, we've had over 1,000 placements. And when I say we, I'm talking about you as members have been placed in the media. And when we're placed in the media, we get to change world. We get to change the world, and we get to save lives, and we tell people that we're saving lives, saving money, and solving problems, and really getting the heart and mind of the public because of the research that you all do. And finally, I want to mention DEI, so diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in the strategic plan, one of our goals is to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in all we do. In all we do. So it's not relegated to a committee or one of our forums. It has to be in everything we do. And personally, as a lesbian, it's very important to me personally to make sure that we are doing things to be inclusive. But professionally, if Informs does not treat people with respect, if we're not more diverse, if we're not more inclusive and equitable, we are not going to hit the goals in our strategic plan. So I just want to mention one project that we do, which is called the DEI Ambassadors Project. And if you're interested in it, you just go to Google or go to our website. You can just type in Informs Diversity Committee, and you'll find the Ambassadors Program. And a lot of people have worked on this, but this was a catalyst of Pranor. So thank you for all you've done for this program. It's in the second year, and we'll go into the third year. So if you have an idea, anybody in this room, anybody online, any of our members or even staff, if you have an idea that can advance DEI within Informs and you need some money to do it, apply for a grant, because that's how we're going to get better. So I'm going to leave the state of the society at that, and we have time for questions. So Ashley's here with the microphone. If anybody has questions from the room, and David is someplace monitoring the chat. Oh, we have a question here.
Thank you. This question is for Elena. Thanks for your past year of leadership. Could you describe what you feel has been the most impactful moment for you over the past year?
Impactful moment over the last year, probably the last few days. So I've had the pleasure of meeting with hundreds of people through Zoom, a lot of one-on-ones, because I had to get onboarded to this organization so quickly. So I've been walking on air the last few days, just meeting people and being stopped. Actually, Jorge's right here. He stopped. He was the first member I met because I was walking in the lobby Saturday night with my Informs mask on, and he said, "Nice mask." And I said, "Thank you. Are you part of Informs?" And then he introduced himself. I was like, "Oh, I know you," you know. But it's been amazing. And when I think about last year at this time when I had to do the member meeting, I had notes. I didn't know Informs yet. Now I know Informs. This is the stuff I live and breathe every day, so I'm just honored to be here. So, thank you. Any other questions, or David, anything online? Okay. So Steve, as they think about questions, what are you most excited about with the strategic plan?
Well, thanks, Elena. Well, I think with the strategic plan, I mean, there's a lot there, but a couple things I would sort of highlight. One is that sort of this, we say, big tent approach as we think about Informs. You know, certainly OR analytics is sort of the backbone of everything we do, but the community is, in some sense, these days even broader than that. And I think we tried to sort of capture that and convey that in the strategic plan. Yeah, I'm also excited by, I think, the goals, and you can look at the goals, but I think they're really going to be very, very helpful going forward in terms of, you know, how we think about what we should be doing, and maybe more importantly, you know, maybe what we shouldn't be doing and what we should sunset in terms of sort of setting our priorities.
Pranor, any?
Historically, we thought about some of these great offerings in Informs as somewhat in isolation, not completely, but somewhat. So we have our publications, the meetings, membership, and over the past several years, we are going more towards a one Informs approach, where we recognize that these are not silos, but there are a lot of synergies across them, especially in terms of how we can bring them together to better serve our membership and to contribute better to our society. So that's one piece that I'm really excited about, because that's one thing we really highlighted in the strategic plan, making sure that all of these weave together and then we achieve some of these synergies.
Radhika, anything? Or
Oh, I guess I have a mic, right? So all I would like to say is that, I would welcome each and every one of you to reach out to us and let us know how Informs can serve you better. And in terms of the strategic plan, it will be successful if all of us work together to make it so. So I look forward to hearing from everybody, and what can Informs do for you, and in return, what can you do for Informs? So thank you all very much for everything you do, and I hope that we can continue to work on that.
excellent. Any other questions? Back there. Let's see, where's the mic? Oh, there we go.
Hello, Andrew Hall, and I was past president of the Military Applications Society. And so I had a question. As we see our libraries changing their policies and the different methods of paying for journals, some groups like the IEEE have talked about requiring someone to be a member to submit papers. Have we thought about whether or not we should have a member on each paper, or having people join after their papers have been submitted? Because some of the cost of joining Informs is still a lot less than what a lot of the other journals charge as a publishing fee. Thank you.
Well, yeah, that's a great question. I can't say I know exactly the answer in terms of whether that's been thought about, but your point is certainly well taken, that if you look across the Informs journals, there are a lot of papers being published by folks that are not members of Informs. And I would say maybe a better way of thinking of that is maybe not with a stick, but what's the carrot? Is there something that we could then approach them and entice them to become members of Informs? But possibly we need a stick too.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Oh.
I think that if we start with if there's a new model where everyone understands that the journals are part of the privilege of the community, it's part of what we have and what we offer. And so I agree that we want to have the absolute best research. But I joined the ACM when I graduated from West Point as a computer science student, and I joined Informs when I was working at Maryland as a PhD student. It was something that we thought we were supposed to do as a part of the community, and so as we all are submitting papers and writing good papers, it would seem to me that if people wanted to publish in the Informs journals, that they would want to be a member of our community. And so I guess I don't understand why someone would not want to be a member if they were wanting to be publishing, but at the same time, I know that it does cost some money, and people are looking for funding to do such things. But as like NSF and such, that they allow people to pay for publishing prices in grants, but I don't know that they allow you to be membership fees. And so how do you look at getting that kind of a funding source, which would be, I mean, NSF would think it was equitable. If you paid a funding fee, they should be able to pay to join Informs.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the feedback. We have time for, I think, one additional question. Now, I'm excited to, any questions? Radhika, tell us about AI. We have a few minutes, because I love the answer.
Okay. What I 2 years ago, when I was, had just retired from SAS at the end of 2018, and in 2019, the then President Krishnan asked me to join the ad hoc committee on AI because I believe it had been discussed on the board, and it was felt that Informs needs to play a bigger role in the AI community. And all of us who've done research in this area know that many of the algorithms, many of the methods that we work on get used in many AI techniques. And I think there are many problems in typically the AI world which can also help the OR research proceed and get further along. So, why don't we try and get the two communities together? That was the basic idea. And, the way I like to look on it is how can we, the members, stay relevant to the big burst of AI that we see everywhere. And that's what I've been passionate about, and I guess that was kind of the reason I kind of got pulled into becoming president-elect this year. And Steve was kind enough to ask me to lead the initiative again this year. And he mentioned in the opening session a report that was just published as a result of a workshop that we did between the two AI and OR communities. So, we can put a link out there on the Informs Connect, and please take a look at it. It gives great ideas of how the two communities can come together, and we're looking at doing more workshops. And any ideas that you have, please let us know, and we'd be glad to follow up on that. I'm very passionate about it, as you can see.
I'm glad we pulled you in. Thank you. Thank you, Radhika. It seems, Ashley, we have one question. Okay, then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, thank you. So I'm a PhD student from University of Missouri. My question is, what's the kind of option that we have to expand the diversity and equity in respect of the science? So we can see most of the recipients of the awards in Informs are from 5 or 10 universities. So how we can, kind of expand those knowledge across the country and have more diversity in terms of science?
It's a great question. You have thoughts?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the question.
How do we increase the diversity, equity, and inclusion? If you think about some of our awards, they're around 5 or 10 different schools. So how do we bring that equity across all of the different universities? Is that the question? Yep. Do you have thoughts on that?
Well, our Vice President Palin, whose name I'll mess up, but who sets up the awards committees and provides their charges. My understanding is, I think, as she's doing this and as her committee does that, I think, that's first and foremost in their mind, is to both, create the committees such that they are open-minded, that they themselves are diverse, and I think there's implicit, if not explicit, charge to them to, try to operate in ways that are consistent with our strategic goal.
That's a great question, and as you all know, diversity and more so inclusion and equity are not easy to achieve in any group, in any organization, especially in an organization like ours, which historically has not been very diverse, but is getting much, much better over time. So again, like Elena said earlier, this is an area where all of us need to work, think creatively, and if any of you have ideas about improving DEI in any area of Informs, whether it's awards or publications or anything else we do, again, I encourage you to check out our DEI Ambassadors Program, and that's a great platform for each of you, whether you are a student or an academic member or a practice member, possibly in collaboration with Inform staff, to bring some of those ideas to life and to make a change. So I encourage all of you to look into that and hopefully participate.
And I'll just add something as we wrap up this portion of it, is that there was part of the DEI Ambassadors Program, we had a study that looked at the nodes of networking and closeness of folks on editorial boards. So I think something similar could be done with awards to say, okay, how are we looking at the diversity across all of the universities, and it's the colleges, it's the tier 1, tier 2, the different research institutions. So it's definitely on our mind. So keep up the questions. So I think we're done with this portion. So thank you. We're going to hand it over to Steve, who's going to bring us through to the next and the final portion of this night. Thank you.
Okay. You hear me okay? Let's, the mics, yeah. Yeah, volunteers are the lifeblood of Informs. You know, we couldn't accomplish what we do as an organization without them. So I'm thrilled to present the 2021 Informs Volunteer Service Awards for exceptional service. So these awards are going to Kanan Korlu from Boston University, Kara Morgan from the Ohio State University, Norm Ritter of Kana Advisors, and joining me here in person, all the way from Galileo University in Guatemala, is Jorge Samayoa. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you. The others are probably doing service somewhere, I hope. Next, I would like to congratulate Saif and Dimitri on their reappointments as editors-in-chief of their respective journals, Service Science and the Informs Journal on Optimization. Thank you for your continued service and dedication to our publications. A very special thank you to our editors whose terms are coming to an end. Your own, Dan, and Sudhir, we are deeply in your debt. Your hard work has greatly contributed to our journal portfolio. And for the new editors, welcome to the team. Stefan, Olivier, Goban, and Todd. We thank you for your willingness to take on these important roles for our community. You've got big shoes to fill, but we know that you're up for the task. On Sunday afternoon, we inducted the 2021 class of Informs Fellows at a lovely lunch. These individuals are examples of outstanding lifetime achievement in operations research and the management sciences. They have demonstrated exceptional accomplishments and made significant contributions to the advancement of ORMS and Informs over a sustained time period. Thank you to all our fellows and your dedication. The next part is bittersweet, as we say goodbye and thank you to our outgoing board members. I've had the pleasure of working with this amazing group of talented colleagues, and we'll miss them. Thank you to Alan Butler, the outgoing Vice President of Practice. He has been a passionate voice for practitioners and organizations. His accomplishments include facilitating learning opportunities that share best practices and enhance value, negotiating member access to WorldData.ai, the world's largest data platform, and producing timely white papers such as Getting Started with Analytics and the Analytics Career Pathway Report. Thank you, Alan. And thank you to Sue Merchant, our outgoing Vice President of International Activities. She has been a champion for meeting the needs of Informs members around the globe. Her accomplishments include strengthening connections and relations with a range of international OR societies and organizations. She was instrumental in providing virtual access to our annual meetings to OR communities in less developed countries, and in providing Informed support to local conferences, most recently being an OR conference that Jorge ran organized by the Universidad Gavel in Guatemala in 2020. Thank you, Sue. And thank you to Trevor Beal, our outgoing Vice President of Chapters and Fora. He's been a passionate advocate for the interests and concerns of the Informed subdivisions. His accomplishments include opening new lines of collaboration with Inform's committees and across the subdivisions. He was also instrumental in increasing the impact and efficiency of the Subdivision Council and the Chapters and Fora Committee. He redesigned the structure of the Subdivisions Council retreat and streamlined the process for student chapter awards. Thank you, Trevor. And joining us here in person is Tori Chen, our outgoing secretary. Tori has reimagined the role of secretary. In addition to being our expert on parliamentary rules, she has worked to make our board meetings and processes more effective and efficient. She's pushing me along. She has been a great colleague as part of the executive committee, often being the strong voice of the membership in our discussions. In addition, she has expanded the secretary's role to be the board's liaison to our development activities, and was a key enabler of the founding of the Informs Journal on Data Science. Finally, she served on the highly successful Informs Executive Directive Search Committee that brought us Elena. Thank you, Tori. Yep. You can. Next up is Pinar Kinerjek, our 2020 president. She was exactly the strong leader we needed in a year like no other. Her passion and dedication to our community are unmatched. Indeed, as I think of Pinar, I reflect on the Informs vision statement that I'm sure you've got right in the front of your head. Better decision making for a just, prosperous, and sustainable world. This really describes Pinar. This describes her career accomplishments and her aspirations. Pinar, we're going to miss you on the board, but we know you are not far away. Please come up to the stage and you can make a few remarks.
Thank you so much, Steve, and thank you all. It's been truly an honor and pleasure to serve our Informs community as a board member. The past 2 years have been tough for us individually, for our careers, and it's been challenging for Informs as well. So we had to pivot, adapt, be resilient, creative, work harder than ever. And I believe the true colors of a group or an organization are revealed during challenging times. And I think you would all agree that Informs and our community truly shined. Our Inform staff, volunteers, members, they all came together, supported each other with grace, with understanding. I particularly would like to give a big shout out to our Inform staff for their commitment. Of course, they always have worked very hard to serve our community, and we may not often recognize or appreciate how much they do, because they do it so well behind the scenes. They make it seamless, but they've gone above and beyond during these past 2 years, so I would like to give them a big thanks. And also to Elena, our fearless leader, for all they've done and continue to do for us. So I encourage all of you to send a note of thanks to our staff. You can write it on a piece of paper if you have it with you, leave it on the table, grab them, they're all around. If you are joining us virtually, write something in the chat or email them, but please say thank you, because they do so much for us, and we wouldn't be here without their incredible work and dedication. So as I transition out of the board, I applaud all the incoming and continuing board members and also volunteers. I know Informs is going to be in great hands and our future is bright. I wish all of you the very best. Thank you.
And Pinar, before you go away, we've got a small token of appreciation. I'd give you a hug, but I think I'll drop it. So,
Thank you, Steve.
you got it?
I got it.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to share my reflections on my year as president. Indeed, it has been another challenging year. Yet, as Elena has conveyed, the overall health of Informs is very good, all things considered. On many dimensions, we are thriving, like publications. On others, like meetings, we have adapted and continue to evolve as we learn and as the times change. In reflecting on the year, I mentioned 3 things we have done that should strengthen Informs for the future. First is finding and hiring Elena. Although much of this happened in 2020, it was 2021 that we could fully appreciate what a great decision, what a great acquisition this has been. Elena has had big shoes to fill, and she has more than done so in the short time she has been with us. Second is this. Second is the strategic plan. Along with Elena, I think this will be very helpful to guide us as we face a future that has much uncertainty and with which we're going to have some resource constraints to deal with. Third is our continued investment in 3 ongoing initiatives. And Elena and Radhika have already spoken about each of these. These initiatives are our advocacy initiative with a goal to raise awareness and impact policy, our DEI initiative to advance our strategic goal of diversity, equity, and inclusion in all that we do, and our AI OR initiative to assure and increase our relevance within the broad field of AI. We have made good progress on each of these over the past year. Each of these is well aligned with one or more of our strategic goals. Each remains a work in progress, but we are well set to continue to advance each of these in the years to come. So in all, it's been a good year, albeit with challenges. And now, let's turn our attention to the future and welcome our new board members for 2022. There they are. We look forward. We look forward to working with you to guide this great organization, to advance our profession, and to provide value to our members. Okay, now, Radhika, please join me up here. As the 2022 Informs president, Radhika Kulkarni's commitment and dedication to our community will be unquestioned. We look to Radhika to lead us out of the pandemic into the new normal. She is ideally suited to think about the future of our profession, to identify the impact and opportunities of emerging areas like AI, and to help strengthen our practice community. She will serve Informs well. Now, Radhika, it's that time for the passing of the gavel. Are you ready?
I think so. I
okay.
hope so.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Thank you. Thank you. Steve, thank you very much for your kind words.
Okay.
Don't go yet.
Okay.
Don't leave the stage yet. We would like to really thank you very much for this past year, everything you've done and taught me a lot.
Okay.
So I have big shoes to fill. So
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll take this out
So-
of your way.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll just have a few remarks here. Wow. When I became a member of Informs in the early 80s, I never imagined that I would be here at this stage of my life. I'm extremely humbled and truly very honored to be given this responsibility to lead Informs. I am following many excellent leaders who have played this role in the past, and I know that I have big shoes to fill. As an incoming president-elect in late 2020, I was invited to attend some of the later board meetings in that year, and since then, I have observed the dedication and passion, and most importantly, the wisdom of the previous presidents. I hope I will be able to follow in their footsteps. Pinar had the challenge of pivoting from a normal world to something none of us experienced before or even expected. I admire her for the ability to accept the uncertainties and steer us through 2020. Steve, I admire your calmness and wisdom, and I hope I have absorbed some of these qualities in the past year. Elena, I am so grateful that I will have you as a colleague as we enter 2022. In the past year, I have also come to appreciate the collegiality among all the members of the board and the wonderful Inform staff. Grace, I know I can count on you to keep me on track. All of you have jointly made my transition to president-elect a smooth one, and I know I can count on you as I move on to the next step. I will truly miss the board members who are exiting this year: Alan, Sue, Tori, Trevor, and Pinar. I hope I can still turn to you for your advice. I have learned so much from each of you. And to the many Informs committee members and the membership at large, thank you for your support. My special thanks to Krishnan, who drafted me to be part of the AI initiative, and my husband says that he actually tricked me to accepting the nomination to run for president-elect. So thank you, Krishnan, and I hope I'll be able to fulfill the charge decently. I would also like to thank the AI Ad Hoc Committee, the Advocacy Team, and the DEI Committee, with whom I have worked most closely in the past year. I look forward to what we can achieve next year. I'm excited about the strategic plan, and I will look to all of you to help me provide value to all the members in academia and in practice, to students and regular members, and hopefully expand the Informs tent to include more experts in all the neighboring disciplines as well. Thanks, everyone, and please help me be a president worthy of this wonderful organization. Thank you all so much, and I hope that we'll continue to have wonderful years ahead. So with that, I end my remarks, and just I have a few final closing comments about the event. So thank you, everybody. To those of you who have joined us virtually, goodbye, and we hope to see you in person in Indianapolis next October. For those of you here in Anaheim, please join us for the general reception outside in the Grand Plaza, which is the open area between the Convention Center and the Marriott. There will be food trucks and a great night awaiting us. Thank you all. And okay.
Thank you, Radhika. So there, actually another round for Radhika.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Elena.
I know I'm switching mics on you just to make it difficult. Sorry. So I've just been alerted to the fact that there's something up with lights on the food trucks. So I think they're going to hold us back for a little bit because there's not enough light outside. So the food trucks are working on it. So I would say mingle a bit, and then we'll go out in a few minutes, so I'll make it another announcement. But there's still food and drink, and there's good company. So, and then we'll get the food trucks open. Thank you.